Hey, what's up tankers? Buckskin Snuggy here with another quick tank review. Today I'll be looking at the FCM 50 ton. This is the Tier 8 French premium tank. Now the first thing I'd like to start off with this tank is the fact that it is gigantic. The sheer size alone of this tank is really going to make you a big target for anybody shooting at you. If we look at the armor here, the armor is actually pretty bad. For the turret and the hull, it's 120 on the front, 80 on the sides, and for the back end of the tank, it's 80. For the back end of the turret, it's 60 mils. So the fact that it's pretty poorly angled too doesn't really help. If you look at the front there, that is actually pretty flat. The back end actually has a decent little angle to it, which is kind of nice. You'll get lucky a couple of times, and people shooting at the back end of your tank here, they will bounce shells. Anything hitting the back of your turret though, and the sides of your turret, even the front of your turret, most likely they're going to penetrate you. So you really want to be kind of chilling in the back with this tank, or more or less playing it like a medium tank. The speed alone is really great with this. You know, you could be able to basically jump out there, take a shot, and jump back out into cover really quickly. The acceleration for back and forth is really nice. But yeah, you really want to be conservative while playing this tank because, you know, like even the turret itself is butter. You've got a really gigantic commander's hatch there, and the fact that your mantle for your front of your turret is really small, you're going to have a really tricky time ever bouncing off shots. Tier 6s, Tier 7s, you know, you get the odd bounce here and there from them. But anything above Tier 8, you know, Tier 8s alone, they're going to have a no problem tearing right through you. If we take a quick look at the specs here, the speed limit is one thing that this tank really has going on for it. 51 kilometers per hour, that's pretty great for a Tier 8 heavy. 1000 horsepower, so you have a really great power to weight ratio. The acceleration in this tank is fantastic. It's a very, very mobile tank. It's got some pretty good HP to it too. As soon as we jump into the battle here, we will take a look at how much HP it actually gets. This is one of the rare preferential matchmaking Tier 8 premiums, so you will only have to see Tier 9s when you're fighting with this tank. Let's see if we could take a look at, or actually wait, we gotta take a look at the chassis rotation. That's another thing this tank's got going on. 40 degrees a second. This tank can turn on a dime. The turret rotation itself is 36 degrees. That's really nice too. You can swing that turret pretty fast. You know, snapshotting is a really real bonus for this tank. You could actually clutch out some really good snapshots with this tank. 400 meter view range. That's fantastic for a Tier 8 heavy. Let's see, we got 8 rounds per minute with the gun. That's more than enough to be really hammering out some shots. I believe that works out to around maybe 8 or 9 seconds a shot. That's not bad whatsoever. If we take a quick look at the gun here, the gun's fairly reliable. The standard AP shells get 212 penetration. That's pretty good. It's got a low alpha damage, but the rate of fire really makes up for it. An alpha damage of 240 isn't anything too fantastic. You get a little bit spoiled when you play with tanks like the T-34 and the Louver. The APCR premium shells, it's not really much of a leap. You only get up to 259 penetration. So even with the fact though that you do get 12 for the standard armor piercings, you don't really need too many premium shells with this tank. The aim time is really great, 229. That's more than fair. The accuracy 0.36. That's pretty reliable. You can, like I said, you could clutch out a lot of snapshots with this tank. Let's see here. The supplies I usually go with, because it's got a pretty good standard armor piercing penetration, I bring out 50 for the standard APs. For the APCR, I bring 31 just for those sticky situations. I'm not really too sure why I have so many high explosives. It's probably the amount of shells that you can actually bring with this tank, but I've got 10 high explosives on here. And like any other premium tank, it makes a shitload of silver, so I bring some large first aid repair kits, large repair kits. I bring the automatic fire extinguisher. Really love those passive boosts. For equipment, I would definitely go for the improved ventilation, the large tank gun rammer, and I know some people this kind of leaves up to speculation, and it depends on your play style. Me, I like to kind of camp out and snipe with this tank. I know personally, so I bring the binocular telescopes. A lot of other people that really try to stay mobile with this tank, you know, they bring coated optics. Like I said, it kind of depends on your play style. What do I got for crew skills? Crew skills, I've got Brothers in Arms, Sixth Sense, definitely a must. I bring the camo on there because I have this thing kind of suited out for my medium tanks. This is actually my crew for my bat chat. Repairs is definitely a must. Clutch braking isn't really too needed because this tank turns really well. It's very agile. I like Snapshot and Smooth Ride because, like I said, you know, you will be busting off those snapshots, firing on the move. Jack of all trades would be really recommended for this tank because a lot of people that will be shooting you are going to be damaging your modules and taking out crew members, so that's definitely something that would benefit this tank. What else could be good here? I would definitely say, let's see, yeah, recon and situational awareness would be good. You know, take advantage of that really good view range of 400 meters. Designated target would also be good. You know, you kind of can play this like a scout tank. Safe stowage would be another one that's really good. You're going to tend to get ammo racked quite a bit with this tank, more or less because shells will be tearing right through you, no problem. And like I said, they will be damaging your modules. Mentor is good just because of the fact that you will be training crews with this tank. Other than that, though, it's fairly reliable. Let's see. Yeah, the mobility of this tank is great. You have awesome acceleration when you're going forward and pulling back. So if you can, you know, try to be shooting around corners, you know, jump out, blast somebody, get back into cover. Try to make sure this tank has good protection around you. You know, you want to use the battlefield to your advantage. Don't really get out too face to face with people. You don't really want to be brawling with this tank whatsoever. Because yeah, it's a really huge target. You don't really want to be taking hits whatsoever. The tracks for this tank are fairly big, so you can get lucky when it comes to side scraping. Your tracks will eat a lot of the shells. This gun, the tank also has really good gun depression, so you know, fighting on top of hills and shooting over the ridge of hills and then dipping back, getting back into cover, that's always a good advantage for this tank. But yeah, like I said, the best thing you could really do with this playstyle of this tank, though, is play it like a medium tank. I get it that it's a heavy tank, but it is more suited to play like a medium in general. Alright, well, let's get into some action with this tank and see if we can kick some ass.
Let's get this show on the road.
Alright, so essentially this was actually my second match in the FCM 50 time. My first match I got eaten alive by artillery, and I figured that wouldn't exactly be too great to show on here. But I ended up getting into a tier 9 match, and it was encounter battle on steps, so figured I'd try to press the flag as quickly as I possibly could, try to use that speed to my advantage. Notice we had some big 9s rolling over here, so I kind of wanted to do some spotting as much as I possibly could. Oh, and as you can see for this tank too, it does get a pretty good health pool. 1500 health points, that's pretty nice for a tier 8 tank. And the speed, as you can see, is pretty good too. 51 clicks, we're flying pretty fast there. Quickly notice the T-54 had pushed almost all the way through onto our side. I figured he was going to spot artillery, so I figured I'd try to make a mad dash over here to try to pop him a couple of times. I wanted to shut down his little scouting aspect. Got in here, sneaking a quick punch with the auto aim. Give him a little love tap. And it's time to dance. We got my ammo, quickly repair. Notice I was taking shots from the far side though, so I tried to use this rock for cover. And a quick shot to finish him off. Figured I'd keep using the rock for cover, fade off the enemy minimap. As soon as that Sixth Sense was off, figured I'd book it out of there because I was kind of in a bad situation. Didn't really look like a good position for me to be sitting. Now this tank does have good gun depression, but honestly that was a poor spot for me to try to go up. Shooting at the side of that IS-3 was just a complete fail. Got a nice little engine shot on the EZ8 over there. And honestly, on that shot, I'm not really too sure who I hit, if it was the EZ8 or the T21. Figured I'd try to crank off a blind shot, and that was kind of a fail. But if you look at the minimap right now, you'll notice that they are completely swarming us on the flag, so I quickly try to rush over there to help as much as I possibly could. With this tank, you really want to use that speed to your advantage. You know, this is kind of a tank that it's able to dance. You know, you could really get mobile with this. Be dynamic, you know, jump around on the map a little bit. Gotta admit though, I was getting a little nervous as to what I actually got myself into over here. There was a lot more than I bargained for. That gun depression, sneak in for a quick punch on that T29. Once I noticed he looked right at me though, I figured I'd back up a little bit. Kind of look to the side, see what I'm working with here. Was hoping that I could get a quick shot on that E75, and then quickly realized that there was a Conqueror right there. Luckily though, he was not fully upgraded. Judging by the size of his barrel, I'm guessing he was the one package right before being fully upgraded. I think that's the 20-pounder. I was hoping I could get in here and get a kill shot on the T29, but apparently I was a split second too late. I'm not really too sure what he hit there. It looked like it just might have torn right through my turret. I was wondering if it was the commander's hatch, but it looked like that 25-2 just kind of punched me right through the turret. And had a failed snapshot on that Conqueror. Luckily his bullet was actually eaten by my tracks. The one thing you'll notice with this tank is a lot of shells will get eaten up by your tracks because they are so gigantic, and that's always kind of nice. You wouldn't really think by the side armor on this tank that you couldn't really side scrape with it, but honestly you can get lucky with it sometimes just because of the sheer size of your tracks. Another quick little punch on the side of that turret of the Conqueror. I wanted to keep an eye on that 25-2 because I was wondering if he was just going to creep over and try to finish me off. Essentially he didn't though. I guess he was firing on the guys on the cap. Yeah, as you can see, he just blasted another one off. Figured I'd sneak in one little punch. Now this shot I did get lucky with because I managed to tear right through his mantle. After I brought him to about hanging from a thread, I think he got a little bit nervous to be pressing.
Target acquired. Target unlocked.
Oh, now that was just a fail shot. Figured I'd back up a little bit, try to let my allies get in there and throw some punches. They had a lot more health than I did. And once again, a second too late for the kill shot. It was kind of nice to see that the ally tanks didn't exactly cap. See a lot of situations like this where the, you know, have a huge advantage, and for some reason, I don't really know why, but people like to cap. I'm not really one for capping in this game. I'm all about getting as much damage in there as I can. Kills, you know, kills are great and all, but like I tell people, you know, any butthead can get a last shot on a tank, but honestly, where the real true skill comes in is can you get the first 5 or 6 shots on him. One last thing here to note, with Brothers in Arms, a gun rammer, and vents, I managed to get the reload time down to about 6 seconds, and for a tier 8 heavy, that is pretty good.
Target acquired. We won.
1558 base experience, 3200 damage, 1 kill, pretty nice. Pretty good match, especially for the fact that it was tier 9, you know, and when you're a tier 8 in a tier 9 match, it's pretty easy to get MVP. But yeah, 80,000, even though I used a large repair kit and a large first aid kit, that's still pretty good. Standard shells really pulled through. But yeah, like I said, you know, play this tank like a medium. Try to use it as a sniper role when you can. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that like button to show some support. Good luck in the battlefield, you guys. See you out there.